Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Joseph Chavali. He has over 3 decades of extensive experience in aviation management, strategic planning, business development, HRM, training and development, and engineering administration. His exceptional leadership skills have propelled him to become an accomplished capability builder leader in the aviation industry, focusing on the Airbus fleet and B787 management. His expertise lies in process development, policy design, and the implementation of operational and engineering procedures to enhance training for various aviation professionals, including aircraft maintenance engineers, ground services personnel, cabin crew, pilots, and technicians. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders. We appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge and engage in this conversation. Use your personal, academic, and professional life for our viewers watching for the first time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sunny. I'm really thankful and compliments to the World Development Corporation for bringing this concept of building a community of industrial magnates, and I'm very happy to introduce through this platform. Yeah, I'm coming to my personal details. I'm Joseph Chavali. I'm born in Tenali, a small town in Andhra Pradesh. I'm a third child of my parents, Chavali Thomas and Mary, who are teachers. And I'm married to my wife, Jyotirmai, who is also a qualified teacher. And I'm blessed with 2 children, son Joy Davidson, working in US. And my daughter, Dr. Jessica, just completed her MBBS and preparing for PG. My son recently got married to Pranita, who is also doing MS in US. They are settled in US. So this is my brief background about professionals, about my family details. Now coming to my academic records. I have just completed my BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from an autonomous engineering college called Bapatla Engineering College, Andhra Pradesh, in Electronics and Communication Engineering. And I have done my MTech in Digital Systems and Computer Electronics from a university called Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University in Hyderabad. And also I have completed my MBA in Human Resource Management from Usmania University, Hyderabad. And because of my continuous learning and interest on updating myself, I am also pursuing doctorate, PhD, doctorate in philosophy in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Karunya University. This is my brief academic record. And coming to my professional record, I have just started my career as a lecturer in engineering college in Gulbarga. And I was there about 5.5 years working as a lecturer. And then I moved to erstwhile Indian Airlines, and presently it is called Air India. And I served for about almost like 30 years, 4 months in aviation with Air India. This is about my professional career. A brief note of it.
So, Mr. Joseph, thank you for the excellent start to this interview. It's an honor to interact with someone who exudes such a strong corporate personality. Continuing our conversation, we would like to know, you have handled numerous roles across functions in aviation, such as engineering, operations, safety emergency procedures, dangerous goods regulations, audits, HRMs, administration, and are a recognized association secretary. So how do you handle, or you have handled the transitions between these functions within the aviation industry?
Yeah, it's a big question to answer. It could take a little more time. Yeah, coming to, as I told you, I started my career with in engineering college as a lecturer. So I served there for about 5.5 years. And I used to, 86, immediately after my degree, I joined engineering college, because in 86, there are not too many postgraduate people available for lectureship. So I got the opportunity, and I was a lecturer to BTech students, and then I established there several laboratories. And then I was even heading the department for some time. And then I have really used to enjoy my teaching profession. And then I have faced certain challenges over there, and successfully dealt those challenges. A few of them, to quote, actually, their engineering college students come for practical examinations, and there used to be an external examiner coming for that to conduct the same. At times, these external examiners are unable to turn up. Then, exam gets postponed, and students, come with a lot of preparation and all, and then, they feel that exam is postponed. When it is conducted, it's a big agony like. Then I realized there should be some problem, and then it could be sorted out. Then I come to know, after deep analysis, there is a provision for, local industrial people can be, invited as external examiners. Then I have maintained a rapport with local telecom department, Doordarshan, and electrical department, the industrial engineers. And then I made a panel out of them. And then, I used to conduct, since then I used to conduct any exam, but due to whatever untoward situation, external examiner do not turn up, I used to call this industrialist, and then used to complete the exam. So students are so happy. And then it's in a different experience for the students, interfacing with an industrialist, apart from academic professors. So that's one challenge I could meet very nicely. And at times when I am in a principal cabin, and he used to struggle to find out a lecturer where he may be on leave, or where is he, like. Then I have my instrumental in preparing a master timetable for the college, including all departments and all. Then he was so happy with master timetable in front of him, and he is able to locate everybody wherever he wanted, actually. So since then, my colleagues and principal used to, brand me as, you are really a troubleshooter and a go-getter. That was the branding I started with my career right from my engineering college. So this is my engineering college experience around 5.5 years. There I was used to do my MTech in power electronics also. One semester I completed. Then I was always looking forward for an industry job. Then I got an opportunity to join S12 Indian Airlines as a training officer in 92 at NEC, New Engineering Complex, Mumbai, Sahara, Santa Cruz area. It is inside the Mumbai airport in a hangar. So I was selected for an advertisement against only one general vacancy all over the India. So I am so privileged, and God's grace, I got this position. And then I joined as a training officer in Indian Airlines. And then there we used to impart training to aircraft maintenance engineers and technicians, and even apprentices from local ITIs. So this is my role actually over there. So there it is really challenging, once again, moving from an engineering college lecturer, and then start training aircraft maintenance engineer who is having more knowledge and more practical knowledge. He's working on aircraft. But whereas I come from an engineering college, of course we used to have internal training. And then I used to, I was trained. And then in aviation, the main regulatory body is Directorate of General Civil Aviation, Directorate General of Civil Aviation. So we need to get the approval before, impart training to them. So I got approval for Directorate General of Civil Aviation, DGC approved engineering instructor for airframe, engines, radio, electrical, avionics, etc. And then I started imparting training to them. And it is really challenging, get the good credentials for the people who are already on the practical knowledge, having more practical knowledge. It has actually put me in lot of hard work to place in to get as a credible instructor or a trainer. It was a nice experience, and this is the field I was looking forward. And there is one more small challenge I have been faced there. There, the trainers are not, taken care at par with the trainees. Like, there we used to have a small issue to my notice, that is the trainers, engineering instructors are not provided with, protective gear for, monsoon and winter. Like, we also do go along with the aircraft maintenance engineers in rain, in monsoon season, and then we were not given. This is not logical, I realized. Then I convinced my boss and then took to next higher ups, next DGM, quality control engineer, and then GM engineering. Then I convinced them and I put the logic properly, and then we got succeeded in that. I'm very happy for that, achieving for our entire group the required gearing and proper respect from the community. This is what my experience in engineering training. And I was always looking for, expand to not only engineering field, and in aviation, a lot more other fields are there. I was looking forward. And then to my luck, actually, there are some pilots trainers, pilots instructors who are required before imparting training to pilots. They are required to undergo engineering training first. They must clear that. So as part of that, in Mumbai, I used to train Airbus 300, 320 family aircrafts. Then some trainers from centralized training establishment from Hyderabad, Air India, they have come and underwent my classes. Then they were impressed, and then they have invited me. Why don't you join us, our group, training pilots, because we have vacancies. Then there was an internal ad, and then I wanted to extend my services to other fields as well. So this is a good opportunity. Then I moved to Indian Airlines, as well Indian Airlines in 96 December at Central Training Establishment. It's popularly called as CTE, Firozpura, Hyderabad. And then there I used to impart training to, pilots, cabin crew, and flight dispatch officers. Here we are called as ground instructors. And here also we need to get approvals. I used to train pilots on Airbus 300, Airbus 330, and Airbus 320 family, and Boeing 787. And these, as part of my requirement, I obtained my DGC approved licenses and approvals to impart the training to these pilots. And basically, the pilots training, what we do give is basic training as well as type training on a particular aircraft. And we do train them on aircraft technical systems. We have several systems, such as, we have hydraulic system, pneumatic, electrical, landing gear, emergency exits equipment or systems like that, etc., etc. So these systems, we train them on ground in classroom, and then we take them to aircraft also for practical visit, and we also train them on simulator. And in simulator, we give them hands-on experience, how these systems do work, and then what are the likely faults, and how they are required to take different actions, etc. And it's a really challenging and, a pride job, training a pilot. In aviation, pilot is the ultimate, So I used to enjoy training the pilots. Then I have moved on to, SEP. It is called Safety Emergency Procedures Training to Cabin Crew. And basically, cabin crew, we call them as, we have two boys and girls, and they are called as cabin crew air hostess as well as flight pursers. And external world knows only, the cabin crew are there, girls and boys are there on board only, for hospitality purpose. But it is not so. Actually, they are trained, they are there on board. They are regulatorily required to be on board in order to take care of the safety of passengers and crew members. that external world doesn't know actually. They are really and rigorously, thoroughly goes a lot of training, like, so they are there on board in order to deal with several emergencies, like, aircraft may, untoward situation may land in emergency. Either it could land on water or on land. And they are trained to that extent, they, how small or how big the aircraft may be, they are required to evacuate all passengers on board within 90 seconds, with 50% of exits available for them to serviceable. So it's a marvelous job. It's a marvelous job. And they are being trained for that in 90 seconds. Why? Because the fuel what we use in aircraft is nothing but kerosene. The flashover point of kerosene is 90 seconds. Subsequent to that, it could lead to an abnormal explosion. So within which one should come out, either on land or even water. For land, we have slides. We give them a on-hand experience at center training establishment, slide evacuation and raft evacuation also on water. So this is a marvelous training imparted to the cabin crew. And this is like evacuation. And then we have what is called decompression. Aircraft flies at high altitudes because, air density is low, so friction is less, so fuel burnt is less. So that is the reason why we fly at high altitudes. But high altitudes, we have problems like, low temperature and low oxygen content. That is taken care by, air conditioning system as well as pressurization system. Normally, aircrafts having aluminum fuselage, they maintain the atmosphere what we have 8,000 feet from the mean sea level. Whatever altitude atmosphere is there from 8,000 feet, that is being seized. The air quality is comparatively better with aluminum structure. Whereas we have modern aircrafts coming in like Boeing 787, Airbus 350, and all these are, carbon structures. These are much more stronger than aluminum, as well as they can hold much more pressure than these things. So these aircrafts. So that's why they even maintain better air quality inside. Like whatever air atmosphere is there at 6,000 feet, that is maintained compared to 8,000 feet. That is the reason why these modern aircrafts, even you fly longer, people don't feel, tired, because oxygen level is sufficient. It's quite good, these modern aircrafts. So what happens when we do pressurize and fly high altitudes, aircraft do fly, depends upon the aircraft, 39,000, 41,000, 50,000 also aircrafts do fly. At the ceiling altitude where we do fly, if any problem comes, any structural damage or panel leakage, then this entire air leaks and inside air leaks and then equated to the actual atmosphere. By then it is called decompression. By then, aircraft comes to safe altitude. This is the place where cabin crew plays a very, very important role. Once aircraft comes to safe altitude, the people who needs oxygen and other requirements, they take care. And also, something like fire on board, fire, smoke, that they are trained so much. So they will aggressively and handle the situation and bring to safe situation. And bomb on board, they are required to deal with very tough. And then they're required to move it to, what is called least risk bomb location, which is aft of the aircraft on the right-hand side. They are required to move the suspected article over there if required by preparing a platform there. This is what we train them. And hijackers on board. So they are taught thoroughly how to deal with, and then how to follow the laws and regulations, and then, how to handle unruly passengers, and how to handle dangerous goods regulations, and then any spillage, any leakage. These all the trainings, any first aid, any medical emergency, these all, trained. The cabin crew are trained to so extent in the basic training also, and then recurrent training. Every year they are trained, and they are indoctrinated to that extent, where in which they may not require to carry out these functions probably throughout their life. They may not be required. But when it comes, they are required to handle quickly and aggressively and successfully. That's why their training is a kind of indoctrination again and again. So wonderful people, the cabin crew, a lot of laurels to them. They are balancing their family life and these kind of, so many emergencies dealt by this cabin crew. External world doesn't know much about them actually. Then this is about my cabin crew experience. And even I have, trained good number of pilots as well as cabin crew pilots, around 1,000 plus I have trained, and cabin crew around 2,000 plus I have trained. Some of very well-known people are also there in that list. One Mr. Captain R.S. Sandhu is the captain now, presently working as Chief of Operations for Air India. And then I have trained the people of Kandahar, Ajak, AIC 814, the entire crew. And then I also trained the Captain Balla, who is safely landed aircraft in Tirupati way back in 1992. Airbus 300 with huge number of passengers on board safely with minor injuries. So like that, I have trained a good number of people. Similarly, cabin crew also, well-known people are there. There are people who are Olympic players, and then who won Olympic medal in hockey for our India, are also trained by me. And then one flight purser awardee of Dronacharya is also trained by me, and one flight purser by name Anil Sharma, who wrote the IAS Trail of Terror book. It's 814 hijack episode. So there are numerous people, pilots and cabin crew being trained by me. I feel very proud and great about interaction with these people. Now coming to dangerous goods regulations, this is the subject where we train the pilots and cabin crew. This is how to handle with them, any untoward situation happened, how to deal with them, pilots, how to deal, how to land, and subsequent to landing, what are the actions that are required to take, and cabin crew in cabin, if something happens. Some operators do carry DG articles, dangerous goods articles. Some airlines do not carry. But you carry, you don't carry, their crew must be trained. This is about DGR articles. Then coming to audits, I actually apart from my training activities, I'm also involved into other activities of preparing different manuals and preparing them and obtaining them from DGC approvals, like training manual, operations manual, quick reference handbooks, and then safety emergency procedure for cabin crew trainings, etc., etc. And audits is one of my favorite topic. And then we are involved into new skill area of audits also. Here we prepare ourselves in audit. Audit basically needs what are the regulatory requirement, is it properly documented, or and then it is carried out properly, and then proper evidence is there. With this concept in mind, we prepared in-house with my other team members, and then we go to DGCA audits, and then we face DGCA audits, and another audit called IOSA, IATA Operation Safety Audit. And this audit is very important for the airline, to be a member of IATA. So if you, until unless you clear it, you cannot be an IATA member. So I got accolades for successful completion of IOSA audit in 2017. And this is my experience about audit. I love that function. And then moving on to, HRM, human resource management, because of I have a fond of it, and then I completed my MBA in HRM. It is, I like human resource management right from 86 when I joined in Mumbai. So I used to, I was given in charge of this apprentices selection, So we used to select from local ITIs, different apprentices, and, mentoring them, training them, and helping them till, they got absorbed elsewhere as technicians or something like that. And not only that, I have in CTE in Mumbai, I used to, function. I was in charge of roster in charge for imparting training to all pilots, cabin crew, ground personnel, etc. So I used to have create a policy procedure, a flawless rostering system, where in which all training needs are met, and then we maintain a data bank of all the trainees, what trainings they are required, and we ensure at appropriate time their training is completed and they are correct. Until unless a pilot or cabin crew trained and clear the exam, they cannot board the next flight. So that matters a lot to the airline operations. So this meticulous job, even we have around less strength, we used to manage the schedules by proper planning of this HRM activities, and particularly when we have too much of short of instructors, I have moved different notes, note sheets, and then successfully able to induct some trainers into the system, and mentoring of junior trainers. And I am accomplished board member in selection of LTC, line training captain, and then TRI, training rated type rated instructor, and then SCP, safety emergency procedure instructors recruitment, and engineers recruitment, and cabin crew recruitment, apprentices recruitment. All these recruitments, I am the panel member, board member, and then I recruited. And recently in Air India, I have recruited around 30-40 SCP instructors, because Air India is expanding very huge. They need a lot of cabin crew and pilots. So I am in the panel board, and then successfully got good people on board. And these are my HR functions. I love these HR functions. Then coming to I'm into aviation research also. Actually, I'm fond of my academics, and then love to update myself again and again. So I'm doing a research in PhD in electronics and communications in from Karunya University. And being I'm working in aviation, I selected a topic on aviation itself, actually. So this is what my broad topic of aviation research is detection of cockpit faults or malfunctions using image processing of a cockpit panel. So this is normally this research helps investigation of incidents and accidents. Normally, as of now, for investigation of incidents and accidents, we do have two recorders called flight data recorder, digital flight data recorder, or cockpit voice recorder. Popularly, external world knows them as a black box. So this DFDR, what it does is it records continuously around 80 plus parameters, critical parameters, like at what altitude, how the health of the engine, like that. Around 80 critical parameters, they are recorded once in every 4 seconds. That means the progression of the flight for every 4 seconds is already being recorded, and this record will be retained for the last 24 hours data. And we have another recorder called CVR, cockpit voice recorder. It records in 4 dedicated channels of 4 different microphones. One is captain, then first officer, then observer, and then the 4th is we have a microphone in the cockpit itself. Anybody talk in the cockpit is being recorded, and this retains last 2 hours voice. So these 2 recorders are being used for investigation of any incident or accident. So my research here is by using a airborne image recorder, we take the video of a cockpit panel, and video is nothing but combination of image frames. So I separate image frames and process them, and I'm able to normally these faults of different aircraft systems are represented in terms of red, amber, steady, flashing lights. So these are using MATLAB. I am able to create a video and then detect these faults. And these faults, whereas DFDR have a limitation of 80 parameters, whereas this research can easily, completely, the entire panel is being covered to detect any fault is there or not. And it helps in 2 ways. Once DFDR fault and this fault is coincides, it's a double confirmation. At times, what happens is because of electrical transients or something like that, certain lights do flicker and then come on. And then certain emergencies, cockpit crew, they are trained. When there is a fault comes, you take it in true spirit. And then they carry out the checklist. Certainly, if a false warning comes in and then it leads to an emergency descent or something like that, they may do it, but it could be an unwarranted or electrical transient fault. It leads a lot of complications. Okay, so my research can also identify such flickering faults, so that they can improve the technology, why this particular light is flickering again and again, maybe some fault with the display itself. So this helps in detecting the and improving the technology of that particular display. So this is what my research is. I have several papers published in journals, including Scopus Indexer Journal, and I'm a continuous learner and continue my study on that. Then coming to my association secretary of role, this is really challenging. When I joined at CTE Mumbai, CTE Hyderabad as a trainer to pilots, I learned that there is an association, very old association called Airlines Ground Instructors Association, which is on almost like deathbed. We have around 30, it's an association of few people, like 30-40 people maximum, and then highly learned people. They are engineers, they are from ex-Navy, Air Force, and it is very difficult to bring an anonymous thought process between highly educated people. So from a union category, it is very simple. A leader will be there and others do follow and support them. But here I realized it is a real tough job. I should better make use of it. I talked to everybody and then finally succeeded in conducting elections and bring a life to the Airlines Ground Instructors Association. And then it was not doing in the beginning very good. And it took a long time, more than 2 years, to come under my stewardship as the General Secretary. Once I become General Secretary, then I moved towards my airlines headquarters, airlines house in Delhi. And then it is a tough job, small group. No, people are not bothered, people are, directors are not bothered. Nobody cares for you because airline industry, at least as well earlier, it used to work on nuisance value, how much nuisance he can create, rather than, merit of the case. So I went there and then tried to meet General Manager, Industrial Relations. You can't imagine, I went there around 10 o'clock and then I waited there for his appointment till 6 o'clock in the evening. And many people, visitors coming, going. I briefed him in the beginning. I sent a message that I'm so-and-so, came to meet him. But, people are coming, going. He also came out to use, washroom or whatever. He was seeing me. But, never bothered. Finally, frag end of the day, he has given me 2 minutes. Gentlemen, I have only 2 minutes to talk, Then I just briefed him that, what qualifications we possess. So he was impressed, and then he called me for the next day, and then we met several rounds, and then Director IR took me to the then CMD, Mr. Sunil Arora IAS, and then he's a former Chief Commissioner of Elections also. I told him only one thing, the same thing I told, the merit of the case. Actually, I told them what qualifications we possess, what profession we do. And then I also brought to his notice that our cadre used to slog in same cadre for about 15 to 20 years. This is not done actually. I told him, then he felt very sorry for that and instructed Director IR, you do something for them. This group required to be taken proper attention. Then within 3 months of my stewardship of General Secretary, we could able to make a good results of, create a unique elements for this group, which is almost like, straight away rise of almost 50% rise of our allowances, as well as, promotion to everyone in the union category to the next level. So this is a great achievement in beginning of my career of the association. Then, after subsequent to the merger of as well Indian Airlines Air India, based on Justice Dharmadhikari report. Then one fine morning, they withdraw our allowance. Now, by then, we all moved from union category to executive category. So, we really got stuck. They cut our allowance, stating that your allowance is beyond 50% of basic of as per DP guidelines, it is not allowed. The same thing happens with pilots also, engineers also, but they didn't touch. Why? Because they might. So a small group, nothing will happen. Bolke, they have done with us. And then we have taken, even though we are executives, we have repetitively, send a request letters to the top management, and it took almost 7-8 months. Then then CMD intervened and then corrected the situation. They have, restored our allowance to, around 60% in a different format. This is another achievement, able to. So in my in-grade skill of negotiation has helped me, to deal with that kind of situations. So these are all the different roles. Actually, I may be able to handle in Air India in different capacities. In Air India, I joined as training officer and then moved to deputy manager in engineering training. And from I joined operations training as a deputy manager, and then moved into different positions like manager, assistant, general manager, and senior manager and assistant general manager. And at the fag end of my service, I'm given as a retired as a senior AGM, and then carried out the rules of DGM, officiating DGM rules. So I was heading the department of operations, technical training and performance training. This is my brief role in both engineering college and Air India.
Mr. Joseph, since you have associated yourself for a so long period with Air India, we would like to know, our viewers would like to know that, you have dedicated your whole professional life so far to Air India. So our viewers would like to know the reason behind it.
Yeah, actually, it was a great pride flying a national carrier, a flag carrier. It is the main pride for me to be, associated with Air India, number one. And number two, we have, job satisfaction. We have excellent job satisfaction, increasing our skill area to different areas, and then growing prospectively and competitive allowances. And main thing is, another thing is, travel and exposure to other places, So Air India is the only one airline to have an extensive network, in particular to the international sectors. So this gives us an added advantage to be with Air India. And then, after the open sky policy in 1919 is open, there are several airlines came and went off, to name Modi Luft, Sahara, East West. There are several MDLR. So many airlines came and went off. Actually, as part of my profession, I underwent a training called a 2-week seminar on middle management training, middle management level training on modern airline management, conducted by European Union and Government of India Civil Aviation Department. Together, there I learned a lot of things about this aviation business. This aviation business is needs lot of capital, and then this the profit margin is very narrow, very narrow. It's really difficult to earn profits from this airline operations. And then a very sensitive business. Any impact like pandemic or any regional imbalance or regional disturbances anywhere, could very badly affect this airline business. And airline, the operator who flies the airline earns very less profit compared to other logistic partners of the airline, like airport operator. he gets his money, whether we are in profit or not. They gets their money like, parking, takeoff, landing charges, hangar charges, and like fuel suppliers, they get their money on time, like logistic supports, and catering people, all ancillary people involved in the airline to get their money, and then they are in the profits. But only airline, for example, you see already airlines in like Go Fast and SpiceJet is in trouble. Indigo is doing little bit better, and these Tatas do run already run the airline of AirAsia and Air Vistara. They never earned any profit. Even Air India, even they declared a lot of loss now. So it may take time, but end of the day, it needs a lot of efforts and minuscular study and research on these things. For example, you take my example. I am conversant with engineering training and procedures policies. Similarly, operations trainings, procedures policies. And then a person of this caliber at top management makes a absolutely a different angle to conduct of the business. For example, a pilot or engineer brings an incident or a notice to a top management who is not an expert in these areas, then they will listen and then follow what they say. But people like me, we go into root cause analysis and then, identify the real problem and then, set right once for all. So this added advantage. If people like highly qualified, because even pilots, highly caliber pilots, are not given into major decision making policies in the business. That's one lack where I personally feel where why these people could not make profits in this. That is the, and these airlines come and go and no proper corporate governance, no proper working conditions. Then I realized this is how I dedicated my life to Air India.
Mr. Joseph, exceptional insights you have shared with us and with our viewers today. Okay, let's move forward. We have discussed your professional pursuits, roles and responsibilities, your career journey so far. Now let's discuss corporate governance and ESG. So do you find some scope for better integration of sustainability and corporate governance in the aviation industry?
Exactly. That is integration of corporate governance and environmental social governance is very, very critical for long sustainability of the aviation while retaining the profits and all. There are several areas we can maintain, sustainability of these combinations. The one such first field is the environmental sustainability. In environmental sustainability, the airlines need to, use fuel efficient aircrafts, the engines who can more fuel efficient. Like, for example, A320 Neos, they are, 50% fuel efficient. And Boeing 787 engines, Gen X engines, they are 20% fuel efficient engines. Like that, more fuel efficient engines to be used. And these modern new aircrafts are, 50% less noisy. So they are, that's very good. You should use them. And we also have a field of, usage of sustainable aviation fuels. Sustainable aviation fuels are arrived from bio waste, and it is in the very beginning stage of development. And people should thought of investing and making use of sustainable aviation fuels, because their emissions are their carbon emissions are very low compared to fossil fuels. So this is one area where fuel efficiency, and then they also can move on to new technologies like electrical as well as hydrogen based aircrafts. This is one area. And also carbon offsetting. This carbon offsetting is another important area where airlines need to concentrate more and more on this. Indigo is doing a good job. Actually, they are developing some forestation, and even people can move on to collecting a carbon offsetting fee from the passengers, voluntary carbon offsetting fee from passengers, and use that money for this carbon offsetting procedures. This is one sustainability as far as environmental is concerned. Then coming to social responsibility. Social responsibility is, labor policies. Every airline need to, should need to do a fair labor policy. So proper allowances, proper salaries to be given here from top to bottom. As I told you, nuisance should not get the money. Merit of the case should get the money. So that should be, should be thought, and proper labor laws should be implemented. Working conditions for the employer should be implemented. And then accessibility of the airlines need to be, given to all corners of the society, particularly, otherwise disabled passengers, and everybody, every nook and corner of the people should be able to accessibility to the airline should be provided. And also comes to the corporate governance. Under corporate governance, we can say, like, board diversity, transparency, and then sustainability committees. See, board diversity is very, very important. So board diversity, we have each company, each airline or aviation industry, for that matter, any company, this diversity is very, very important. So you need to have gender diversity, you need to have ethical diversity. When diversity people meet in the board, their thought process and it permits them to, dig more into environmental social governance, and then they can take a good decisions on that. And also, like, transparency of the boards, should encourage people to give a transparent reports as far as carbon emissions and environmental social governance is concerned. It should be encouraged to give that. And also, sustainability committees. Actually, you need to, encourage and provide sustainable committees, so that, they work exclusively on that, and then provide sustainability reports, committees continuously, and then regular basis, and then whatever they bring out, those the management or boards can concentrate on that and bring the best possible sustainability into the business. Then other sustainability integration is stakeholder engagement. So all stakeholders must be properly engaged, like, regulators, investors, customers, and environmental social groups. All must be, properly considered, and then encouraged to bring out the ongoing complications, problems related to these environmental social governance, and they may be whatever best possible adopt into the system. And also, regulator compliance also, the regulator, Directorate General of Civil Aviation, now bringing into a lot of environmental and other issues into regulations. So we need to, follow the existing regulations, basically, like on environmental and social governance. And not only that, we have we are required to even look at the global trends, like we have a UN arm, ICAO, has a what is called a global plan, what is called carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation. It is popularly called as CORSIA, and it is adopted in 2016, and it has plans for a pilot project was made in 21 to 23. And this encourages the airlines, particularly this is for international travel, encourages the airlines to voluntarily report carbon emissions and reporting them. And they have another some other timeline, to bring the carbon levels back to 2020 levels by using SAF fuels, etc., etc. So these are, there are several, these are a few carbon corporate governance, this thing. And we also have supply chain management. This supply chain management, helps in proper procurement of aircraft manufacturing spares. These also can be integrated into it. And we also have risk management scheme which can be integrated into it. So this we have encouraged risk management teams to be built up and then find out carbon emissions risks involved, and also reputational risks involved. These can be integrated, and then well in advance these risk managements will help us in mitigating the risk involved. And long-term perspective also, like for example, one company or airline should think always on the long-term perspective. They should not compromise on ESG aspects for short-term benefits. This should be thought. And like we have a lot of what is called investor pressure nowadays in all organizations and companies. We have a lot of investor pressure. Investors are thoroughly looking at the ESG values of the company before taking their investment decisions. And also, like education and training for all the employees, encouraging them to deal with avoidance of this carbon emissions, and anything they brought to their notice and it need to be brought to proper reporting mechanism, encourage them to report. And then these are the employee training. That means every employee have an idea about corporate governance, and then ESG, carbon emissions. This makes them, these are the different parameters which can be integrated into social and corporate governance and environmental social governance.
Okay. Really, this session for our viewers would be very enlightening one. And we are continuing our discussion on the subject of corporate governance and ESG. So before we concluded, my one last question to you would be, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring forth?
Yeah, obviously, I told you, sustainability, leadership, that is most important. Leadership need to be, thought of sustainability activities, like I already told, fuel efficient, and then the alternative fuels, like sustainable aviation fuels, that should be encouraged. And then you also have risk management. I already told risk management is an important ethical value, and ethical values particularly. The ethical values, the more ethical you are, the strong foundation to the company. And in a long run, it really actually helps in supporting the organization. And also you have this what is called ethical values, and then risk management, and then innovation technology. Innovation technology, as I already told you, these electrical and hydrogen technologies can be adopted so that they can implement less carbon emissions can be involved. And also, like performance metrics, these performance metrics of carbon emissions are to be encouraged, people to be encouraged to measure these carbon emission key performance indicators, and then report them, so that where what are the areas where we are lagging, and then where we are losing or emitting more carbons. Those can be until unless you have some metrics, measurement metrics you have. And also crisis management, and crisis management, like when any crisis of corporate governance or environmental social governance issues arise, then how quickly react and how fast we can encourage, set right those issues. And then finally global standards. We are required to always go to global standards, aim at global standards. And once you are live with global standards, then definitely we are at par with international. And then this is aviation needs people. In the very good olden days, it is luxury, but whereas it is now necessity. So it need to grow. Airline need to grow at the same time, take care of environment also. So you need to have proper environmental social governance. So last 3 years, Indigo is publishing ESG report. I am so happy to read that reports. And like that, every airline and then need to spend some money on this social governance as well as environmental social governance, and follow the environmental regulations domestically as well as internationally, and aim for following the global standards. So I hope this aviation can sustain longevity.
Okay. Interesting. So, Mr. Joseph, since we were talking about technology and it has become an integral part of our lives now, so what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, Web 3.0, big data, etc.?
Yeah, because of these more technologies, a lot of new airlines have come in, like low cost airlines, and recently Akasa Air also has come, and digital transformation. This helps contactless boarding, contactless check-in process, and cargo this thing. And also we have what is called regional connectivity with this recent trends in aviation. UDAN scheme, like this scheme gives a connectivity to unserved areas, and this is a great initiative from the government of India, to serve underserved and unserved areas by giving some subsidies. And we also have what is called aircraft orders. Exclusive orders are being placed in the modern. This is a big change in the recent aviation. And cargo also increased. This leads to converting passenger aircrafts into cargo aircrafts. And also we have what is called international expansion. These airlines are broadly internationally expanded more and more. And we also have what is called space tourism. It's in line with the international people. Innovative industries have come up for orbital transportation. And we also have what is called health and safety measures. And post pandemic, all airlines do have this meticulously follow this. And privatization of airlines, like Air India is being privatized. Tatas are running this airline now. And the startups and innovations and regulatory changes and government support, as well as sustainable airports are being developed. So these all are the new trends in this. And now coming to innovative technologies like IoT, Internet of Things. This really helps into aviation in a big way. Like this Internet of Things consists of several sensors, detectors, and integrated into the internal part of the aircraft, and then they can give a lot of data required for the airline, and then they can integrate the data and analyze them, and then identify performance of the engine health, and then thereby reducing their turnaround time, and also lot of problems they can detect well in time and then mitigate them. So their sitting on ground we can be highly reduced. This is IoT. And also AI and ML, like artificial intelligence and machine language, also helps in lot of ways, like security, like in aviation. This security, artificial intelligence security measures are much more improved, and then much more safer airline, much more safer air transport is possible. And this AI and ML also helps in passenger reservation, like they helps identifying using chartboards and personal personal identification of these travelers' requirements, and then they are personal identification of these individual passengers, and they can make a tailor-made package to the passengers. They can also incorporate in that. And blockchain of supply chain, blockchain technology in supply chain and supply chain management really helps in placing the secured order for spares, aircraft spares, and they can avoid counterfeited products in this. And then this also helps in secured passenger sales, say that frauds can be reduced. Like that they also can do. And then we have Web3 technology, and decentralized applications. These Web3 and decentralized applications really helps in reducing the centralization point of reservation to local centralization, so that passengers will have better contact and better interaction with this thing. And we also have what is called big data technologies. Big data technologies also helps in analyzing the big data of the passenger base, and then based on that analysis of that big data, they can prepare their flight management, like planning their routes, and also proper fuel efficient plans they can make by making use of this. And also you have what is called sustainable aviation. They can also help in sustainable aviation as a whole. These new technologies really helps in bringing up the airline, and it can very well integrate into the aviation business.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Mr. Joseph. So this brings us to the last question of the session. And here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole team of World Development Corporation?
Yeah, I really appreciate for the good job for the World Development Corporation team, Mr. Pathan and Mr. Mehta. Really, they are doing a very good, great job. And it is required, actually. It is required. See, there are experts in industry, but the industry may not know. So these are the platforms make industry know. And because of my academic, managerial, and expertise in field, it encouraged me to move on to study my independent director, and I have cleared my Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs independent director exam, and is all helping like anything. And I am doing environmental social governance as well. It could be completed in a couple of weeks. So with all these, we are there are people in the society and industry, the best make use of. I can work as an independent director in any listed company. So we, with our thought process and negotiation skills, and then support with the technology and other interests, definitely industry finds good people. And end of the day, good governance and good environmental social governance can be achieved. I really thank and for their initiation, and then I really congratulate and wish them a grand success for their initiative of World Development Team.
Great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Mr. Joseph Chakravarti, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sandeep.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Wish you the same.